Hey, welcome everybody to Bridging the Seen and Unseen. I am that crazy preacher guy from the West Side, and this is Gwen the gangster. Say hello, Gwen.
Hello, Shane. How are you?
I'm good. Good. Can't complain. I don't do that anyway, even though my wife's in the other room. You know, I'm pretty safe just as long as I got a wall in between us. But if I start that complaining stuff right there, I'm afraid she may throw something through the wall. So I gotta keep it down just a little bit. But how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Uh, like I said, no complaints here. Just got cats taking care of little kittens and
Well, you wrangle cats, and I wrangle cats too, but in a different way. So I think that's
yeah, and believe it or not, I know this is gonna sound like really crazy, but I never had a thing for cats, and we started fostering cats.
mm-hmm.
That were like need medical help and stuff like that. And once we started, we got it's just it's almost to a point to where it's too much, but we love them all. They all have personalities. They all I mean I can send you pictures where I'm literally sitting in my chair and there'll be 20 cats on me. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Well, tonight, guys, I've been having I've been having these great interviews with mediums and psychics here lately, and I'm really intrigued by the thought processing of how they think and they relate, to things, especially in the paranormal.
Yeah.
So we're going to continue that. Bianca, thank you for this. And let's just bring her on. Salem Starr.
Hello.
Hey.
Hey. Welcome. Thank you for coming on with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And thanks to Bianca for introducing us.
Absolutely. She's wonderful. I mean, it's been such a pleasure knowing all of you guys. We start out just by if I can get you to tell everybody who you are and just a little bit about yourselves, that would be fantastic.
I can start with mediumship. So I'm Salem Starr. I have been doing mediumship professionally since around 2013, 2014. I also do what I refer to as spirit art. You can also call it, some people call it psychic art. Times I can draw people that have passed on. I'm not sure how I do it. I just call it. There have been times where I've also done living people. So it's just everything's energy is my belief. And I also do tarot readings professionally. And I'm kind of transitioning into like empowerment coaching as well. So that's kind of whatever I'm at right now.
That's a lot.
What exactly is evidential mediumship? What exactly is that?
How I describe it is basically like you are providing like details. You're not just giving a name and a birth date, even though it could be just that. You could be giving, for an example, a memory, something they wore, something they had said to someone, before they passed, or at a different time frame. You might mention, like, I mean, there's like little details that other people wouldn't know per se, or there's no way you could go look it up. Or
Right.
I say evidential is more of a way to, it's like evidence.
I got you. Show evidence. What? Yeah, I got it. That's very interesting because I've talked to quite a few. Bianca being another one where she writes And I've seen some to where like they'll like grab like a pad and there's no pictures being drawn, but they do like circles,
Hmm.
and they're doing it not looking at it, and then they have stuff coming through as they're doing it. And I think it's fascinating that people have that ability. um when did you find out that you had that, and what made it different for you?
Actually, I was in this Facebook group where we were like practicing doing tarot readings. I don't even know if that group exists or not anymore, but and just like practicing, and um, it was interesting because somebody had asked if I could connect with people that have passed on, and I was like, I don't know. I don't even know if I, believe in afterlife at this, stage of my life. I was like, I can try, and it was just really, to me, it was really odd because all I did was I sat there because they said they wanted to connect with their grandfather, and I smelled cigar smoke in my head. I saw an image of a rocking chair. And then I heard gospel music. I remember there was a song in particular. So I just started relaying this to the woman, and she's like, "Yeah, that is my grandpa. He's
Oh,
smoking,
wow.
Mm.
saying gospel music. He had a rocking chair that was, what he rocked in before he passed. So that was like his main thing." And I was like, "Oh wow, like so this stuff is like." Real. It was kind of like shock to me because I didn't really try much. I didn't feel like I was trying that hard. Like I was open to it.
So you see glimpses of things. Do you do you get that when you look at someone? Do they tell you things, or do you just get a feeling and then you see stuff?
So I've kind of learned how to like filter things over the years. How I do it now is I kind of just filter it out. So when it's time to do a session, that's when I'm like, okay, the intention is like I'll get my because I do automatic writing as well. So I kind of combine, tarot with automatic writing and channeled, art, and I'll just kind of like let it come through. And
Wow. That see
uh,
now, I've never messed with tarot cards. I've never messed with them. I've seen them done. But what is the big, I mean, are they really as accurate as?
I think it's so how I see it is it's more of just a tool. It's like a visual tool. I had my best
Right.
friend, he's passed now. He's the one who got me into tarot, and um, had never, and this was back in like 2010, 2011. Um, and he was an incredible mentor. He was the one, he'd always be like, oh, he's like, believe me, you don't want to ever talk to the dead. He's like, they talk to me when I'm in the shower, and I just be like, oh, you're you're nuts. Like, I love you. But like, I believe in the psychic stuff and the cards and all that. But I didn't at that point, believe in the whole medium. I didn't know what to think of it.
Yeah.
So,
Go. I'm sorry.
sorry, you asked about tarot. So what he would always tell me is you have to see through the cards, and I had no idea what he was talking about. So like over time, like it was hard for me to do like tarot. Like I didn't combine the tarot with the mediumship. I just started doing that more recently in the last few years. But that's when I started understanding what he meant by like seeing through the cards. Like I don't know how to describe it exactly. It's like how I use it is things will stand out to me on them that hasn't before, and I'll just voice it. So
Mm.
I feel, what I hear. So.
Are you having a little glitch or?
Yeah, I think so too. I think you're
Oh,
because that's why I start talking again because I think you're glitching and I think
glitching.
it's
okay. Can you hear me okay now or no?
yeah. Oh yeah.
It was a little
Okay.
too far. Yeah, you know how it'll mess up on us. We call them gremlins. We always have them.
Yeah, for sure.
Y'all, and if you don't mind me saying real quick, we've got some folks in here, and I know you guys can't see, but if you see me do this, it's because somebody came in and said hello. But we've got Kimmy, Blaine, Candy, and Litriana, who is our CEO, and then Dale Rogers, who Dale, I think you might be new to me, so hello.
Dale Rogers, haunted Hill House.
Oh, okay. I know that. Sorry, Dale. But yeah, when I do this, it's just because we have somebody popping in saying hello to us. All right. Sorry about that interruption.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. Thank everybody for coming on. This is we appreciate it. We were talking about tarot cards and things like because I think that's one of the things like because of like YouTube and how mainstream TV has done it and everything, I mean, it makes it look like, if you see like a medium doing tarot cards, they're like, or what they're trying to get money or something like that. And that's not the case. And from what I've seen, what I've learned, that's not the case at all. They're not these quacky people that, because on TV, they always dress funny. They always look like they're like traveling gypsies.
Are you talking about the fortune tellers? Well,
yeah.
The Bohemia, people that were from Bohemia,
Mm-hmm.
that was an actual legit thing back then. But I don't know, the way I see tarot, I mean, my best friend that passed, he didn't do it for money. He taught me, it was something he just would do readings for his friends, for free. He wouldn't charge them. And he would do it, for like self-reflection as well. So that's kind of what I started out doing it. And the Facebook group, it was just like free readings. We just practiced on each other. And then eventually, I was like, well, what's wrong with charging? There was a psychic fair where they had psychics come in. And
Yeah.
And then that's when I started being like, well, this is a talent. Other doctors charge for their services. And I had children to support, on my own, and I was like, I don't see anything wrong with,
No, absolutely no. I'm talking like the way that TV has put it, to where like you have somebody that is like having this thing going on, and all of a sudden they go by and there's like a psychic shop right there. I mean, it's just the conception that people put behind it, and the ones that I've talked to are not anything like that.
Yeah. Well, and I think now these days too, with social media like TikTok, you have, everybody's a tarot reader or psychic or a medium. I'm not a big fan of that because like when I started learning tarot and practice, like it seemed like more like it had more meaning back then, and like now it's just everybody is a tarot reader. So I mean, it's one thing if you're trying to learn and you're doing it sincerely, but it's another. I don't know. I just really have an issue with all the TikTok readers that do all the yes or no questions and make money off of people like that. Like, I don't know. That's just that.
Have you ever tried soul cards? I'm sorry, Shane.
No, go ahead.
Have you ever tried soul cards? My hair's crazy. I'm sorry. Do you know they're not oracle cards, but they're soul cards. They're just a little different.
There's one in particular that, like, are you talking about a particular oracle type or?
Well, they're called soul cards. I wish I knew where mine were. I was gonna.
Are they more like the drawings in art?
They are. They remind me of the oracle cards, but a friend of mine had a new set, and I used them when I was in Wisconsin, and I found out they're more my thing. Everybody has their thing. Okay. Some people, and some people oracle cards, but I never could get. But the soul cards, I love them. Okay. They are just a little bit different. I'm just curious if you'd ever try them.
No, I've been drawn to those though. I've seen them on Amazon, so
Mhm.
I'm kind of drawn to them. I don't like they have like the art and everything, right? Like they're
Yes,
like
it's gorgeous. I'll go over there in a minute and try to find them. I
This is
actually
the
got
first
mine.
I'm even hearing about them. I've never
Oh,
even heard of them.
yeah, I love mine. I get when I picked I at the store, you know, it's like crystals, you have to touch them, make sure which one's supposed to be with you. Well, I went in and I was having a bad day and I said, I'm going to the shop and I'm gonna get me something. Went in, was drawn automatically to that shelf, and I was just looking at stuff, and and it was a set, the newer version, I guess, of a set that my friend had when I was in Wisconsin. And it was just like, these are supposed to be for me. So I got them, and I haven't used them a lot. But the few times I have, they just really already feel like mine. So I love them.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, Salem, you were talking about, the charging and everything, and you're absolutely right. I don't see a thing wrong, especially if you're doing it professionally and stuff. I'm in ministry, so I was a pastor for 3.5 years in a church, and I got paid for that too. But when I left the church, I got into spiritual warfare ministry, and that's what I'm in now as a Knights Templar and everything like that. And we don't charge, per se, to go in and do a cleansing, clearing, blessing or anything like that. But if you are doing what you're doing on a professional level, and you're right, doctors are getting paid for what they're due. I mean, if you're truly helping people and you're doing that, then you deserve to get paid too, and I don't agree with people saying, oh, well, they should do it all for money, because I don't think everything is about money.
Mm-mm. If you go to a psychic fair or a metaphysical event or something like that, and I mean, they're going to be there, and you don't have to pay, but if you want to, and most people are very reasonable. And
I have like friends that I'll do readings for occasionally.
Yes. Do you trade? You trade out?
Yeah, and I do have some in particular that I will do exchanges with, which is nice. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's see, and I just think I think it's awesome, especially like if your intention behind it is good.
Yes.
People don't have to question, who you are, why you're doing this, or what makes you, and that's one thing that I appreciate about this. In ministry, we call, it's like discernment.
Yeah.
So that's what it's like. And even me, as being in ministry, I have premonitions and visions that I've had since I was a kid. And I had my first paranormal experience when I was 10 years old. So I knew at a very young age, that I get visions that are different from people, that the paranormal exists. And like churches, that's the reason why I started this podcast, Bridging the Seen and Unseen, was to bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy, because there are families that come into churches looking for help that are dealing with spiritual warfare issues. And there are so many churches out there that are ill equipped to really help people. And I never wanted to be like that. I wanted to be someone who actually does something about it. So I got out of full-time ministry and stepped into spiritual warfare. And then that's where I got with the Order of Archangels. I'm a Knights Templar, and I am a clergy that works in the paranormal field. So I think it's, do you also do that too? Do you go to some of these conventions? Do you go do paranormal stuff too?
I have done paranormal investigating on several different occasions. The more recent one was and this was just more for my own personal, this last one was more for my own personal, like, I hadn't been to a haunted location or, a paranormal location in many years, to go investigate. So, it was interesting, but yeah, I mean, I do it occasionally. It's just, it's right now it's just more I'm focusing more on like the mediumship and
Mhm.
of one-on-one. I did my first group gallery mediumship session or event this last Saturday, and that went well. It was my first, that was like a little difficult, but the paranormal, I definitely, the spirit box, I do like to use that on, occasionally as well. That's one of my favorites. There's also this candle. I don't
Oh, and I know what you're
One-
talking about. I
yeah,
like it.
that is like my thing. I love it. It's just, that's been more of my own thing that I kind of do on my own time at the moment. But I've also I was featured on an episode of a YouTube paranormal show like 10 years ago. That one was called Ghost Realm, the Raw Foam, and that was a
Mm.
paranormal. And
Okay.
are you familiar with the Wadsika Wonder?
I've
What
heard
is
of
it called? Yeah. Oh,
Oh.
yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay, they say it's the first, at least that's what I was told. It was the first case of possession in America. Is that, like, I don't know all the history of it. I just kind of would go into places not knowing the history, and then
Right.
afterwards would, what I picked up and kind of compare it to doing a little bit of my own research afterwards. So
I
Yeah.
am not sure the whole story behind that. I've heard it, but not like read.
What, the first possession?
yeah, at the
Wadsika.
home in Wadsika, Illinois.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
For me, I mean, what I picked up, because like it was a walkthrough, so using my mediumship abilities to, what I picked up on, and then I also did, paranormal, like half and half paranormal investigation as well, using like a spirit box, and we also did use a Ouija board during that investigation.
Mhm.
But for me, what I personally, I couldn't pick up on like a ton of like I didn't, I mean, yes, I picked up on like what I perceived to be like demonic energy, like especially in the basement. But I felt like with the girl itself, this is what I struggled with, like with the idea of possession, is I had picked up on the father being the one that was traumatizing, the girl, I don't know what's allowed on this, show, or how much detail.
Yeah, I'll put up the banner. But yes, yeah, whatever you want to say, whatever you need to say. Yeah.
But that's why I was picking up on, that he was abusing her. I think it was his daughter, if I remember correctly. And I felt like that was that energy of her. She was traumatized. It wasn't so much that she was possessed. It's back then they didn't, with doctors, or they just kind of deemed it just possession. They didn't even think to look at,
Yeah. Possession is a real thing. Now there's I've studied theology for 30 plus years, and I work a lot of cases, like residential cases and things like that for families. And I can tell you, out of all the cases that I've worked, maybe 1% of them are truly demonic.
Okay. Yeah, because I wondered about that, like,
Yeah.
how often, that happens.
It's like, and you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong, because one thing is that because of YouTube, because of TV, and even in churches, making everything demonic like they do, like there's ways that you can tell that if something is truly demonic. And it's up to the person to really, really study. The Bible says, study to show yourself approved unto God, because the devil comes as an angel of light. So he can turn things around and manipulate things. So with possession and everything, when I go into a case and say a family says it is, I have a whole questionnaire that we go through. I have my own test that I do, where I send a spiritual warfare. It's like a discernment thing, where I go and I have them answer questions if they can say the name Jesus, if they can do that. Like I'll hold up this like a Saint Benedict crucifix. These are all things that if there is a true demonic presence, then it will usher that to come to the surface a lot more. And there's a lot of ways to be able to tell if something is truly demonic. Now, with that being said, a lot of the cases that I've gone into, we have found mental illness. And it's a real thing, and there are mental illnesses like onset schizophrenia, that you can see the behaviors of a true onset schizophrenic, and it will almost mimic what demonic oppression looks like. And you have to be able to tell the difference between them. And like I said, there's not many cases that are, but once something is truly demonic, once it is, you will definitely be able to tell, because it goes through different stages. There's encroachment, which is manifestation. There's infestation. There's oppression. Then there's possession. And once possession hits, it happens rather fast. It comes on really, really hard, and the person will have almost superhuman strength. They will speak in different languages. Many voices will come out of them. I have seen a possession to where the person was speaking Hebrew and Aramaic. Aramaic was the language that Jesus spoke while he was on earth. After he ascended, that language vanquished. So it's not something that you can just go to school or learn or anything like that. So if somebody starts speaking that and you hear coming through, that's a mockery of what it is. So that is a form of demonic oppression going into possession. But you're right, there aren't many cases to where they do. And like you said, you were at that case or whatever, that the father and believe me, generational cursing and things like that carries on, not just with the person that does it, but it carries on to all the way to your grandchildren some. And I mean, just
yeah, and I believe that stuff's all about like breaking the pattern. If you have somebody that is like, this stuff ends with me, then it ends.
Yeah. And that's exactly the mindset that people should have. You should have that mindset, of breaking those generational changes, because if you had something that happened to you and it wasn't dealt with properly, then first of all, there's unforgiveness there that can carry on, and that can carry on to your children and then your grandchildren and things like that. And it's a vicious cycle. And it really can affect people in a very negative way. So I do agree with you. I do definitely agree with you. But there's that very small chance that, like I said, 1% maybe. But when that 1% is present and that 1% is prevalent, and there is a true demonic presence there, believe me when I'm telling you, you do not have to question that. It is.
I've
It
never experienced it, I don't think so.
it is so. The first time I ever saw a possession was inside of a church.
Mm.
And you talk about something scary. We stood up and the worship started, and the second that Jesus was mentioned, the guy that was right behind me got thrown probably 12 or 13 feet into a wall behind me. The chair hit everything. His body was contorting. I can hear his bones cracking in the contortions. He was speaking different languages. He was hissing. You know, he had this crazy, we couldn't hold him down. He had this superhuman streak, and his eyes were jet black. And he started mocking. He started mocking where we can understand, like mocking because we were in a church. And that's exactly what possession was. And I saw that for the first time. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get it in spiritual warfare ministry.
Shane,
Because
you had not seen him before that happened. I've heard this before, right? Didn't you say you didn't know him?
no, we didn't know who he was.
Right.
We had no idea who he was. We didn't even know why he was in there, really. But I think there was somewhere inside of him where he was reaching out for help. Like his true side was reaching out for help. And that's one thing that people, if you ever run into someone that is willing to do an exorcism from meeting someone like this, run as far away from that person as you possibly can. Because an exorcism should be the last resort that you use. You should eliminate everything first, because 9 times out of 10, if you are willing to do an exorcism just by meeting someone or because the person thinks they need an exorcism, you have no idea what you're doing. And it is dangerous to walk that line with people.
It is.
Yeah.
It can kill somebody.
Yeah, that's not my realm, or I mean, I find it to be, interesting, and like I said, I've wondered kind of about the stories. Like one of my favorite movies was Stigmata, and I grew up Catholic too.
Okay.
So you would hear stories about possession or, but I guess I've just always kind of wondered about that, especially after being in that, the Wadsika home, Roth was, is this like something that actually does happen, or was it just, there's lots of trauma and psychological things going on, and they're just kind of, they don't, they're unaware of what it's called, so they're just calling it demonic, or they're just finding something to blame. So
Right.
A lot of people call demonic just something that's negative.
And that's what we're trying to break. I'm a Knights Templar, like I said. I'm a defender of Christianity, of course. That's what we are, but we are the church part of it. I am part of the Archangel Apostolic Fellowship. That's our church. I'm apostolic. We look at what the first century apostles used to do. And that's what we believe in, the true version of church, the true version of what it really takes to be a disciple and apostle of Christ, and that's what we look at, and I don't think it had anything to do, because then you've got YouTube and stuff where everything is demonic, everything. Or
Yeah.
you got a family that goes in and they're scared to death to come and talk to their church because the church, what I mean, oh, heaven forbid you had a coffee cup slide across the table or your cabinets open. That's a demon. I mean, come on. I mean, there's
I,
so many viable explanations for that.
well, yeah, and that was one of my things. Like as I got older and um, just kind of seeing how like a lot of like I wasn't as familiar with like all the work you did or anything. I respect everybody's beliefs and
Yeah.
all that, but I mean, I guess when I started doing like the mediumship, that was one thing that I kind of ran into as an issue. Like there was one church I had worked in just on Sunday mornings in the nursery, and then this was when I was first started doing the mediumship professionally. And I remember the preacher had called me into the office, and my business card was blown up on a copy thing, and he was like, "So somebody had turned in this business card to me and said this is what you do," and I was like, I wasn't a member of the church or anything. I was just I was working there in the nursery. I got, I was on their payroll, and I just told them, I'm like, I honestly don't know how it works. I just know this is something that I believe in because I see that it helps people, and I don't see any harm in it. Like this is what I do outside of here, I'm taking
Yeah.
care of kids, and I don't. But I mean, I wasn't there much longer after that because I felt so. He said,
Judged.
yeah, but he said, well, as long as it helps people, he's like, I don't have an issue with it. But he just said that made a lot of the other people uncomfortable. So, and I didn't even, know those people on a personal level or anything. I just kind of went in, did my job. But it was just a very, like, just kind of feel out of place now,
Yeah.
It's like, oh, they're going to think I'm evil or I do, like all that kind of
That's
stuff.
horrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
me too.
sorry.
They don't
And
understand. So
And I'm apologizing to you from every Christian out there or every true person that is in ministry. Let me be the first to apologize to you for that because the way that you were confronted with that is not okay.
no.
It's not okay, because listen, I believe that God gives each and every one of us different abilities and different gifts that
Mhm.
we can use. And if we are using those gifts to help someone else, who am I or who are they to tell you that you're not helping or you're not doing a thing of God?
Yeah, no, I mean, going back to my 16-year-old, 17-year-old self, I was really, like into, the Bible and like Jesus' teachings. And so, like, I have a lot of that memorized, even though I'm not, I'm not a practicing Christian, at this time or anything like that. I have kind
Mhm.
of own belief system built up at this time. But I just remember, like, thinking, well, Jesus had the gift of prophecy. He had, he even said, you will do things, I don't remember word for word, but you will do things like this.
You'll be able to perform miracles, you'll be able to cast out demons. There's so many things that he said right there, and you're exactly right about that.
So Dale is saying, or it's easier to point the finger at someone when there's something you can't explain.
Exactly.
Right. And I agree with that. I
Exactly.
I was judged. I was judged a lot. So
Okay. Yeah, because I was
yeah.
gonna say, even like my friend Anthony, I would make those comments about like, oh, you're just crazy or whatever. But it was like not in like a mean way or anything. And, I'm just saying, I'm like, it's not that I don't believe you. I mean, those are your experiences, but I have a hard time believing it, for myself. But like, I would also do stuff respectfully.
Yeah, just be respectful.
But that's also why I am like, when it comes to people that are skeptics, like I understand where they're coming from because I used to be a skeptic. But then there's also like, when it's the judgment stuff, that's where it's kind of like, even though your beliefs are different than mine or your experiences are, that doesn't mean they're not true. Or, it's just, I think it's all like just respecting other people's beliefs and their experiences and not being like, oh my God, you're doing this, so you're a horrible person, you're going to have like, just crazy, that to me, that kind of stuff is crazy.
Yeah, it absolutely.
You guys don't mind. It's about your drawing. What do you call yours? You don't call it automatic writing. Yours is actually a drawing. I know Shane was asking a little bit about it.
So I do automatic writing as well. I probably do the most. I'm starting to get back into, I used to call them like afterlife portraits. I did many years, but that part I had stopped after I had an experience where I was at one of the fairs and a woman because like it'd been pretty accurate. A lot of people that have like passed on were coming through and people were able to compare pictures or whatever. And I was like, oh, okay. So, this was more than 10 years ago. I'm thinking like, okay, these are afterlife portraits. So that's what I started advertising them as. And then next thing you know, I'm drawing this person and I show it to the woman and she's like, that's my son. And
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Right? And she's like, wait, does this mean he's going to die? And I was like, oh, shit. I was like, no, I don't think that's what he's living. Because like that was, I've never drawn anybody that had been living. And so, yeah, she was like, no, you got all these details right about him. I'm really, really close to him. And I'm like, well, that could be it. It's just the fact that he's so in your energy because they were best friends. So, but after that, I took a break from it for a long time because I was like, I mean, I do it for certain friends or other certain other mediums. Occasionally. But I was
curious as you had the one maybe you did that you didn't mind showing us if that was how it kind of turns out.
I don't keep them. They keep
okay. Okay.
Yeah. One of the first ones I did was of a baby, and that was rough. But the lady was able to. I don't know if she still has it or not.
I bet she does.
But the woman that runs KarmaCon, I was just part of that. This convention. They have like healers out, paranormal investigators, all that. I had done one for her. I think she said she had the picture too that would maybe doing like a side by side. I got to ask her about that again.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
See if she still has it. Because I had to have drawn that for her for like 10 years ago or so. But yeah, it's one of those things though. I'm slowly kind of getting back into it. Like I've been doing it for friends or people that, that were clients for 10 or more years, that kind of thing. But yeah, I'm slowly starting to get back into it. I don't know. It's like, what do I call it now? I'm like, do I call it spirit art? If I call it spirit art, so I'm just kind of struggling with what's the best terminology before I start really, getting into it and doing it. I don't know if you've heard of, have you heard of Coral Pogue?
Say it again.
Coral Pogue. She was I remember seeing her on TV when I was a kid on Unsolved Mysteries.
I think I do. I think Shane, do you remember that? Maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I remember the show. Yeah, I think so. I think so.
She was like, she drew like hundreds of these portraits of people that had passed on.
Oh yeah.
And I remember seeing that. But so how I got into doing the spirit or psychic art or whatever you want to call it, like, I mean, another thing is like everything's energy. So I kind of
Mm-hmm.
tend to use that word a lot, you know, energy.
Right.
But because I think that can pertain to both the spiritual side and this, you know, so it's kind of not just one or the other. But when I first started doing my mediumship, I was like, well, I see these images in my head and, you know, I can hear things, but I'm like, I like to draw, I like to paint. I'm like, I wonder if I can paint these people. So I'd try and try and try. I mean, it took months, and I was like, I don't know. I was like, I don't know what to do. So I just started drawing. It's just channeling because I was trying to consciously do it, but I mean, I don't know how it works.
Is it maybe one of your spirit guides? I know people that do different stuff and
Right.
names, different, you know, there's a bunch of, as many people's out there, everybody has their own thing, the way they do it. But a lot of them say that it's maybe their spirit guides that are leading them or showing it. I have a friend who can't draw, but they can do very rarely, but something will come to them and something will help them put it out there. And, you know, it's usually very meaningful to somebody, you know. So I think that's interesting. That's why I was kind of curious.
It is.
Question, because I wonder, there's a few like spirit guides in particular that I believe, well, for people that I believe are my spirit guides, but in terms of like if there's somebody helping me or if that's just my gift, yeah, I'm not, that stuff I'm still kind of exploring, like, you know, I'm not
interesting.
Yeah, I'm still learning a lot about it, even though
I have spirit guides, and I am lucky enough to know who several of them are. Let me say, I'm lucky enough, and I think it's a blessing. I feel like they're always there if I need them. You know, they're not like possessing or anything like that. It's not like that. It's some energy around you, and but there's people out there that can help you with it.
Do you get a sense? Do you get a sense of like before you start or get into drawing like that? Is there like certain things that come to mind, or do you get like a whole image of what you're drawing?
No, it's a lot of times it's like I'm doing just the pencil first, you know,
scanning back maybe.
Wow.
Just drawing whatever, like sometimes I'm not even paying attention to what I'm drawing. I'm just drawing it. And I'll take breaks and I'll like write stuff, but I'm still trying to figure out with the drawing is it's more fragmented because it's like I could be drawing for that person and okay, someone that's passed might come through, but then I'm picking up on other details of this person's life, but I feel like that's just, maybe that's a confirmation, you know, they're giving me these details so that way, okay, this is the person,
right,
in, you know, in spirit, and they're just giving these details as validation for the person, because a lot of times that will turn into like a bunch of different names or so I'm kind of learning how, like, as I'm getting back into it,
right,
how do I filter this stuff out? You know, it's like when I do the writing, it's coming through a lot more clearer. If with this particular deck that I have has been the one that's been like.
These are the ones I was telling you about. If you can see them.
Yeah. See those? I've been drawn to those.
Yeah, I love mine. I love them. They feel right.
Okay, because the one that I have, the deck that I have, and I didn't use it this weekend. It's a very artistic. It's called the Bonfire Tarot, and it's more of like a. I describe it as more of like a rock and roll, but it's like different. So very, very colorful, and it's
nice.
I don't know what all media, what all art types of, if it was pencil only or if they use the combination, but it's a very beautiful deck. But that's the deck that I got. And then I was like, wait a minute. I'm like seeing, it's crazy. Like, I don't think it's the deck per se, it's more like I'm able to connect with it and it,
Right.
like the colors or the impact that it has on me, that I'm better able to, filter things. And so
That's awesome. See stuff like, it's fascinating to me because, like, even though, because I don't use tarot or anything like that. Now, when you are doing tarot cards and things like that, and you lay them out, do they mean something different every time you like say somebody picks up and there's 4 people in the room and there's 3 people getting read and all 3 of them like pick a certain card, it means something different to them?
yeah. So like all the cards have their basic general, standard meanings. It means something different for everybody, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Like, I mean, still has the same, I don't know how to describe. Let me see. An example would be, so say like I draw the Queen of Pentacles for you. But the basic thing is like somebody that's you could be an earth sign, you could be somebody that's just very grounded and financially stable, or just has like a general appreciation for life and but sees abundance and everything. Or it could mean, so for another person, yes, it has that general meaning. It could mean that, okay, that's who you're going to be coming into money.
I got you. So there's branches off of every, there's.
And then it could also be, okay, with the earth sign, connecting to the earth sign. Okay, if that person's not an earth sign, it could mean that it comes, that money comes to you during, whenever, like Virgo, was it Virgo? No, wait, Virgo, Capricorn, who's the other earth sign? Oh gosh, I can't even remember.
I am terrible at that part. I'll be real with you.
Yeah, but so that's what I mean. It's like different every time. So it's like okay, well, I got this card, but what's coming to me is, you have income coming in, increase the income, and it's going to be at this time, or it's going to be like, oh, okay, this is you, and at this time you're very financially stable, you're very well grounded. So if that makes sense. Or it could be,
It does.
somebody that's passed on that's coming through at that time for me. Like, oh, okay, this person was an earth sign, they were well off. Sometimes it won't even be that. It will be like the color of the person's hair on this particular deck out. And I'm like, okay, this means this, and this is what I'm picking. It's just to me, that's what Anthony was saying when he'd be like, you have to see through the cards.
Yeah. You also have to feel people's energy. Do you do better if you like touch their hand or anything like that?
No, I don't have to. Like, even just, I do.
Or an object.
Yeah, an object.
I can do that. And I do enjoy doing that. That's kind of a, I feel like that's a fun thing for people that, if you're doing in person, I feel, more of a, what's the word? Like maybe the entertainment kind of piece to it.
Okay.
It's kind of like more of like the fun part of it, could be for them. And it's also just kind of giving an intention, like we're connecting with this person.
Right.
That's the way I see it, is like not all, in my opinion, but I mean, everybody's, entitled to their own opinions or their own experiences. And maybe I just haven't experienced certain things. that others may have. But I can do, readings online.
Right.
And, through like this, through like Zoom or whatever. And I'm finding like the tuning in, tuning into that person, their energy. It doesn't really, it doesn't matter the touching or the, and a lot of times I don't, sometimes I'll shake hands, other times I won't.
Right.
But I find that that's not really, it's not needed, but I do like doing readings where there's a photograph at times. Those are fun because then it's like I get to really, it's not that it's needed, but it's sometimes nice to have that.
Right.
It kind of adds I don't want to say maybe entertainment part of it, like I don't know, enjoy. It just helps people feel like maybe a little more like joy.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of why I like using tools like tarot or automatic writing. The say someone has a ring and they want you to hold it or whatever. I feel like that just kind of just adds to it.
It does.
It's more enjoyable for that person.
Yeah, that's very interesting. See, now look, you see what time it is? You see this hour's already gone by. And I told you we'd have a good conversation. But before we do, Miss Starr, could you tell people how they can get a hold of you through your business or Facebook, whatever you have? How can people get a hold of you?
So I have my main Facebook. If you're wanting to book a session, you can go to email me at book_now_with Salem@outlook.com. That's where, I'll have my option. I'll email you my price options, my session options. And I have a few different ones of those. Like you could also request me for like private like parties where you could like say you have a group of 5, the more intimate parties, not where it's a group gallery. I'm still kind of debating if I'm going to do one of those again or not.
They're intense.
But I'm also able to do I've done a reading or medium session between 3 people that were related, and that went really well. So it was like all family members. So I mean, I have different options like that. I just send it in the list and then different payment options. So if you're inquiring, that's the best way to inquire. It's directly there through email. And if you want to see like my reviews, they're on my Salem Starr Facebook page. It's the business page where you can go just click on the reviews. And then I am on Instagram and YouTube. I just started YouTube recently. That's kind of a work in progress, but I mean, anywhere you guys want to follow me, Salem Starr Official. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And Salem, you've been an awesome guest, and I told you this hour would go by.
It did.
I mean, it's organic, but I really appreciate you coming in and sharing your heart, sharing your thoughts,
Yes,
with us. I think you're a fascinating person. I think your outlook on things is just, I mean, it speaks for itself. And I really hope that people do reach out to you. And I hope that this could, give you a platform or whatever to really get out there, because like,
do you have any events coming up also? We didn't think about that.
I don't have any currently at this time. I'm trying to like start planning for October season. So if you follow my pages, on Instagram, and then the Facebook
Right.
page in particular. That's where you'll be able to find when
Okay.
it's posted. So I'm kind of, like I said, working on October.
Okay. Good.
So I'm gonna try and do like a mini tour in October. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well,
kind of want to branch out of the Midwest. So
oh, I got you. I got you. I got you. Well, Salem, I really appreciate you stopping in. I really appreciate you taking time to spend some time with us. It's been a blast, and I told you this hour would go by. And Bianca, if you're watching, thank you for sending her. I mean, she's been amazing. And I really enjoy having you on this show, and I thank you again.
yeah, no, I enjoyed being here, and it did fly by. I was just more worried about my kids. Like I said, it's just an hour.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
They did
It
good.
does. It does fly by, and that's what I was telling you in the beginning. I said it'll be over before you know it, and that's exactly what it is, But when you're around good people and you have good conversations, then time is not even of the essence anymore. It just flows and it goes naturally, whether it's fast, slow, whatever it is. But we appreciate you taking your time out to spend time with us. It's
Yeah.
been great.
Thank you so much.
Both of you, I enjoyed it.
Good.
And thanks so much to Bianca for connecting us.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Well, Salem, you have a great night. Okay.
I'm gonna drop you down, hon.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
All
Well,
right, that's great.
I know. That's Salem Starr, and I mean, you guys, if you guys haven't looked at her page, go check her out. I mean, she's a very open person. She's very authentic. She's just a really good person, So go check her out. But I appreciate each and every one of you that have tuned in, that watched, that comment,
Thank
that
you.
that are on here. Thank you so much. And you guys just stay tuned. We got some great guests coming up. We got some great programs coming in. And also, guys, just one more thing. If you guys haven't seen oh my gosh, I just went completely blank.
I do that. Wait, give me a hint and I'll help you out. One of the shows?
No, with Dale Rogers and everything. I'm trying to,
yes.
because there's it's not Haunted Hill. It's
Is it
it's
Hill House? Help me out.
Yeah, that's exactly what. See, I'm getting all mixed up because I've got there's different ones of them. But Haunted Hill House, guys, they need our help. They need us to come together in the paranormal community because they are having issues with their roof.
Mm-hmm.
It's an iconic place. So if you guys find it within you to go to their GoFundMe, if you could do that, do it. If not, go to their page and share their page out, share the post out. We have everything there, and I'm sure they will appreciate every single thing because that is a very iconic place. They just celebrated 100 years, and we need to give them 100 more years too. But again, guys, thank you so much for being on here, and you guys stay safe, be blessed always, and stay spooky, people.
Good night.
Peace.